hi there. Welcome to all our viewers. You're watching BNS in the Stock Game. I'm Devina Menon, and joining me after 3 long weeks is my co-anchor and colleague Avan Dubash. Hi Avan, good to have you back.
Good to be back, Devina. I didn't really feel like coming back, but of course it's a brand new...
Don't say that. Your viewers are watching.
No, of course I mean it's good to be back on the Stock Game, but when you're on holiday, you know how it is. But anyway, it's a brand new week on BNS and the Stock Game, and it promises to be very exciting for you. Let's just introduce our 3 guests who will be joining us today. We've got Shrikant Shetty, there's also Himen Kapadia, as well as Shardul Kulkarni, who are on BNS and the Stock Game, which we will be talking about their individual picks in just a bit. But for now, here's how the game goes. We give a notional amount of 5 lakh rupees to our 3 experts from Monday up until Friday. They have to build a new portfolio every single day. A compulsory churn of 2 stocks is required. If any targets are achieved, any stop losses are triggered, they have to change those 2 stocks every single day. They can have a short call in the cash market, but that must be replaced, and there could be a stock even from the F&O space. And Friday at 3:30 is when we announce who is the winner of BNS and the Stock Game and who makes the maximum amount on that 5 lakh rupees. So let's get started with our experts and find out what they've doled out for us on their brand new week on the first day of BNS and the Stock Game. We'll start off with Shrikant Shetty, and it's an extremely bullish portfolio from you today, Shrikant.
Yeah, it is a bullish portfolio. If you look at the overall trend for the market and individual moves, there is a fair amount of value in the mid-cap side. So most of my picks are in the mid-cap kind of space. That's where I picked Escomas, Aurobindo, Dhanlaxmi Bank and Trent. Where Trent, obviously from a retailing perspective, where we have some positive news flows as well. So I'm looking to trade on those. But on the other side, I think bank rate policy, which is expected, most of the market has factored in a 25 bps, so should not be any surprises there. So that should also lend support to the market.
Alright, so Trent is the one that you need to watch out for. Remember, the Committee of Secretaries recommended FD up to 51% multi-brand retail. That's caused all of the retail stocks, be it Pantaloons, Trent, Shopper Stop, all of them are up in intraday trade today. Coming to you, Himen, firstly, welcome. This is your first first week rather, on BNS and the Stock Game. How are you planning to play this game in order to make sure that you win on your debutante week?
Morning, Devina. Thank you for having me on the show. I think it's been a mixed bag. Markets have been difficult even for technical analysts. So I have gone in for a mixed bag. I've taken pharma, I've taken banks. I think I'm bullish on banks. The bank Nifty does look good despite the credit policy coming in tomorrow. And something like a Wealth Fund Corporation. So it's a mixed bag. My stocks are Wealth Fund Corporation, Reliance Infra, Aurobindo Pharma and Syndicate Bank.
Alright, so you're seeing a bit of a mid-cap bend coming in there for Himen Kapadia as well. Shardul Kulkarni, this is not a new show for you. You've taken part, you've also been a winner. So is there any particular strategy that you're adopting for this week?
Hi, good morning. Overall, yes, this week is quite critical. You're seeing that you have the monetary policy tomorrow, you have the expiry in this week. So I think that yes, you will see a lot of volatility. I think going forward, the mid and small caps should do decently well. In today's portfolio, we have BGR, you have Ashok Leyland from the large cap space, JP Associates and Ambuja Cement. So yes, BGR being the smallest of them all, we've gone for July futures for BGR, and the rest 3 are in the cash markets.
Alright, so a completely long portfolio for all of our experts. Let's quickly run you through the calculator plates and how each of their portfolios is placed as of now before we take you through their individual stock picks as well. We'll start off with Shrikant Shetty's portfolio. All the stocks making good money there. He's got a long only portfolio. We've got the most amount of money being made on a Trend, 3%. Overall, his portfolio has gained 2%. 10,000 rupees is what he's making on day 1, as of now at least. We're coming to Himen Kapadia's portfolio. He's losing out marginally on a Wealth Fund Corp. He's making money on an Aurobindo as well as a Syndicate Bank, making about 2,500 rupees. That's 0.5% return on the portfolio. Shardul Kulkarni, he's also got a 50-50 mix in terms of gainers and losers in his portfolio. 2% gain on an Ashok Leyland, but an overall gain of about 0.5% in his portfolio as well, so about 2,500 rupees. Let's go across then for Shrikant Shetty first, and his first stock in the portfolio. Escomas Nationwide is a stock that you like to purchase, Shrikant, after the kind of beating that we've seen the stock get over various issues and concerns, pledge shares concerns. The stock has plummeted. You've still picked out this one. You believe it's going to be some bit of buying at lower levels and cheap valuation?
I think valuations are reasonable. The concern clearly has been on the share pledges, which the management has tried to clarify. Obviously, given the kind of market sentiment we have been in, and which the stocks we've seen how they've got battered down on account of share pledges, clearly the concerns have affected the stock. But in terms of overall business-wise performance, the business is expected to do well, and they've been doing quite well. On the business outlook is fairly sanguine. Clearly, I think on the numbers front, if the current quarterly numbers when it comes through, I think we should have probably a potential re-rating candidate for in Escommerce. There's a fair probability that it will get re-rated back into its original territory of 65 to 75 levels from where it has corrected substantially. So that's where the bet is on Escommerce nationwide.
Shrikant Shetty betting on Escommerce nationwide, saying that the business operations are good. An upside target of 64 is what he places. 56 is where it's currently trading at. Heyman, let's chat about the first pick, Wellspun Corp. It is a bit flat in today's session, but in the long term, would you perhaps give a target of about 220? And also, if you could talk about the kind of target that you've placed today, 172.
Yes, I think it was supposed to be more of an intraday pick, Avan, but yeah, I think you have some positive divergence on the daily charts. The stock seems to have posted a short-term bottom. We've been down for 4 weeks in a row. 160 has been good support, so I think we're due for a bounce. And yes, the shorter-term indicator would seem to suggest that we are looking a short-term bounce, and 220 would seem a bit far off as of now, Avan. But yeah, I think if we take out 179 over the next 4 to 6 weeks, we could be gravitating towards 190 plus. So stock looks good from a short term and even from medium term point of view.
All right, good from a short term as well as a medium term perspective. But the intraday target is 172 as Heyman is placed on it. Not working too well right now, but let's see how it pans out throughout the day. On to Shardul Kulkarni's first pick. He's bought the July futures of BGR Energy. The stock today is high by about 0.5%, but not bad going because it's trading very close to its monthly high as well of about 484, and it's doing well even on in terms of breaching the 50-day moving average on the upside.
See, in case of the July futures, what we're seeing is that the stock has completed a corrective phase, and I would expect the next leg of the rally to begin. So in the next 1 or 2 trading sessions, I would expect the stock to trace back towards 475, 480 odd levels. I think that's a good risk-reward ratio that you get at current levels. Stock closing was, I believe, around 462. With the stop loss at 453, I think I would look at a target price of around 480 rupees in case of BGR Energy by this expiry.
All right, so a strong upside target of 481 for BGR Energy by the end of this series, which is of course due by the end of this week. Let's chat about the second stock in each of their portfolios. Of course, you've mentioned, Shrikant, that your strategy is largely towards mid-cap stocks. So you've cherry-picked from the pharmaceutical pack and Aurobindo Pharma. Tell us more about it.
In the pharma space, actually, we're seeing some amount of selling pressure coming in the large caps, but in the mid-cap space, this is one of the stocks which underperforms substantially. In terms of risk-reward ratio, it appears to be favorable. The large part of the fall was on account of US FDA concerns which came through, the import alert which happened, and that's where the stock corrected substantially from all the way 230, 240 levels to 170 and 160 levels. The stock has been consolidated in this range. If we look at the overall story, because of its tie-up with MNCs like AstraZeneca or Pfizer, the overall story looks pretty good from a longer term perspective. This USFDA concern is going to be a bit worrying factor, but from a longer term perspective, I think it's fine. So once the results play out, I see at least a trading upside till about 185, 190 kind of levels from a trade perspective. It's more of a defensive bet where I see limited downsides and the upsides is there for the taking.
All right. Any other calls, large cap pharma names, Shrikant, that you would probably pick and choose right now?
In the large cap names, we are seeing a bit of a sluggish kind of growth in the domestic formulation business. That's where it's a bit worrisome for most of the players, be it Dr. Reddy's, be it Cadila, or for that matter, some of the other companies which announced numbers. There is a amount of competition coming in from MNCs, so that's probably an area of worry. But those who have well entrenched in the international markets like Lupin, Sun Pharma, these would be interesting. Cadila, these would be still interesting plays from a longer term perspective.
Right. maybe stick to the mid cap. That's the kind of opinion that Srikanth has. He likes an Aurobindo for intraday trade. Spoke about Cadila, spoke about Lupin as well. Let's shift focus now and see what Heyman's second stock is in his portfolio. Reliance Infrastructure is what you've got, Heyman, in your portfolio. For the day, just marginally higher by closer to 0.5%. But if you go to see, the stock has really not been able to make its move after that 52-week high of 1161. It's almost still half of that level.
Yes, I think what has happened is it's taken 10 days moving sideways. It just closed above the 55-day exponential moving average yesterday. You have the short-term indicators turning positive. Even the weekly mechanical indicators like the MACD and the stochastic have given crossover buys after reflecting positive divergence. So I think the stock is probably on the verge of ending its prolonged sideways movement, even the short term, and we are set for a move. So once again, it's a short-term call, but I think worst is over in the medium term. The stock over the medium term could probably move 10-15% from here in the next 2 months or so.
10 to 15% is the kind of upside that you can expect for a Reliance Infra in the medium term. How about just about 0.2%? Ashok Leyland, that emerges as a buy call, Shardul, in your portfolio, the first auto stock that we've seen. On the fundamental side, things do seem to look strong. Is it probably replicating that on the technical chart?
Yes, as of now, what we are seeing in case of Ashok Leyland is that if you see the daily chart, we see a corrective phase being over, and the stock is started the next leg of the impulse. So I think that going forward, I would expect the stock price to move probably to around closer to 57, 58 levels. But from a risk reward perspective, we've taken a target of around 54.50, wherein you can place your stop loss near to 50.45, 50.50 levels. I think that looking at it from a short-term perspective, I would expect this target to be achieved either today or tomorrow.
All right, that is Shardul's pick number 2, Ashok Leyland. Target of 54.5 is what he's placed out. That's the today move, 2% higher, making him good money. On to calculator plates once again to show you where they stand at this point. So we've got Srikanth Shetty. Green across the board for him, almost 2% returns on his entire portfolio on day 1 as of now. Trent working the magic there. It's about 9,600 rupees is what he's making. On to Heyman Kapadia and his portfolio. He's losing out on a Welspun Corp but making money on Reliance Infra, Aurobindo and Syndicate Bank. Gains of 0.5%, so 2,500 rupees is what he's making. And Shardul Kulkarni, pretty much on similar lines like Heyman. He's losing out, however, on a BGR and a JP Associates, but that's marginal losses. He's making good money on Ashok Leyland. Another 0.5% gain for Shardul as well, so about 2,200 odd rupees is what he's making.
Okay, so as it stands, Srikanth Shetty is taking the lead. We'll have to see whether he can continue this winning streak up until Friday. But up until then, let's remind you how you can take part on the show Buy Now, Sell Now, because do remember, we take on individual queries as well. So do write into us at bnsn@etnow.tv. You can send us an SMS to 58888 or be a live caller on the show. Dial in to 022-2483-7111.
Still watching BNS in the stock game right here on ET Now. We've got stocks number 3 and stocks number 4 to discuss with our experts. We've got the third stock coming in from Srikanth, and that is a Dhanlakshmi Bank. Srikanth, recently we saw news of them entering into gold retailing, but also the preferential allotment and what they wanted to raise 290 crore rupees by preferential allotment. That has somewhat hit a snag, so it's not worked out too well. But why have you particularly chosen Dhanlakshmi Bank?
So if you look at the recent fall, the primary reason for the fall has been the exact reason which you just stated out, that the deal couldn't go through, and that's the reason why the stock has got corrected. I think that's an opportunity. If you look at on the business side, the growth prospects are fairly sanguine for Dhanlakshmi Bank. In terms of money raising, if it's not this deal, there will be some other deal which will go through. So I'm not too worried on that front. I think this current correction offers a good opportunity for investors to enter into this stock. If you look at the private banking space, in the mid-cap private banking space, I think Dhanlakshmi Bank presents a good opportunity to participate in this overall growth in the private banking kind of space. And that's where I would bet on a Dhanlakshmi Bank from a medium to longer term perspective. Given that it's corrected recently, I think even a trading pullback till about 120 levels is a possibility. So that's where I picked it from a trading perspective as well. But on my investment side, I would look at a much bigger targets for the stock.
Okay, that's a stock from the banking arena that Srikanth likes. It's a Dhanalakshmi Bank and it's 2% higher in today's session. We've spoken, Hemant, already about the fundamentals of an Aurobindo Pharma, which is also a pick, so it seems to be a favorite among most of the experts. And you do have, the general opinion that most of these companies are going to do well in terms of results as well. How are the technical charts reflecting of this stock?
About 9 weeks and counting, we've been moving sideways. I think we have formed a medium-term base. You have the weekly MACD giving a buy after 7 months, so you would tend to take that very seriously. Even the daily picture looks extremely positive. It is a short-term pick, but I think it could do wonders on the medium term also. I think it looks like a screaming buy. The breakout hasn't come in. In fact, the breakout comes in at around 180.81 on the weekly charts. That would mean above that, I think one can look at a comfortable 10 to 15% upside. So stock looks good, limited downside. It's underperformed. Now maybe it's time to bask in glory, and it's on the verge of starting something good on the short term, which would most probably convert into the medium term also.
Right. Hemant there talking about Aurobindo, target of 181 is what you maintained. Shardul, we've got comments from Srikanth on an Aurobindo. Hemant's pick is an Aurobindo. I know it's not your pick, but might as well get your comment on Aurobindo as well.
Oh yes, I definitely agree with what has just been said, because the chart does look quite good, but just the only thing is that I waited for the breakout above 181 and the stock has already been picked. But I think that once above 182, 183 levels, I think the stock should have good momentum on the upside. As already stated, 10 to 15% is definitely possible.
All right, that is the call on an Aurobindo. So bullish outlook from all the three experts here, right here on BNS in the Stock Game. Jayaprakash Associates, Shardul, that is your pick. The stock's not doing a whole lot for you right now. It's at 75. This one also half of its 52-week high.
Yes, the stock has been continuously moving in a downtrend for the past n number of trading sessions. If you actually see the weekly charts, they don't look too good, at least from a short-term trading perspective. The only thing that I saw in this particular counter is that if you actually see the volumes in the last two trading sessions, they have actually fallen, and on falling volumes the stock has gone down, which is generally not a sign of strength on the downside, as in that the bears don't have the confidence that they will hold shorts. So I think that I would expect this particular stock to move up. The stock has decent support at around 74 levels. It has consistently bounced from those levels in the last few trading sessions. If you see the weekly charts, this particular stock has good support around 74. So I think placing a stop loss at 73.50, I would expect that momentum will come back into the stock, at least for a trading bounce. I'm not saying that the overall chart picture will change in just three trading sessions, but from a perspective that you are looking at an intraday trade and you would expect the stock to bounce, I think this candidate looks quite good. The last time it bounced was in 23rd, 24th of June, when the stock bounced from similar levels. I'm expecting that the same thing will happen again, and I would expect a target price of not more than 78, 79. So 78 would be the target price, and I have a stop loss on the lower side of around 73.50.
Okay, so that's a call coming in on a Jayaprakash Associates, which Shardul has spoken about in great detail, being a trader's delight, and it's expected to touch those levels that it saw in June. Hemant, coming to you on this stock, would it be a favorite? Would you concur with what Shardul's saying, or perhaps, go for an LNT or a name like an IVRCL Infra?
No, I think the logic that is used is perfect. It is a matter of time. Some of these stocks look good. Maybe it doesn't move today. It moved after a few days. So I think looks interesting. I think even something like an IRB Infra looks interesting. Yeah, we moved up for a few weeks, but we spent 6 trading sessions moving sideways. We're on the verge of making another move from your post 193, 194. So I think IRB also looks very interesting.
All right, that's a word coming in. IRB Infra also looking like an interesting pick. But let's talk about the fourth and final pick. And you've got a trend, Srikanth, in your portfolio, and you do have the target price which has been hit on that stock, but it's cooled off from those kind of levels. In terms of the target, in terms of the levels that you're watching out for in the medium term, where do you poise that this stock will go?
Yeah, I think if you look at the retailing space, there are only a couple of stocks to really bet on from a long-term perspective. One is Trend, the other one is Pantaloon Retail. Pantaloon Retail has its own issues if you look at on a balance sheet issues. But if you look at Trend, that's probably the best place to ride the long-term growth story in the organized retailing, and that's where this bet is. So I think from an investment point of view, it should be part of your portfolio from a longer-term perspective. in terms of return or target prices, I think 1400 could be a target from a medium to longer term perspective if one is looking at that kind of horizon.
Alright, target achieved on a trend there. After hitting the target, the stocks come down, so good. We've locked in the profit there for Shrikant. Other than that, should also pull up stocks like Shoppers Stop, CESC, which has the brand Spencer. So most of the retail flavored stocks doing well. A Shoppers Stop also should be pulled up. That's cooled off and pretty much stable at that 2.5% mark. A CESC is the one that was up 10% in early morning trade. Should pull that up on your screen to see whether how that's performing. And even a Pantaloon retail. So after a 10% move, it's cooled off CESC and come to about 5.5%. And a Pantaloon retail also is higher by about 2%. Alright, we've spoken about trend, which is Shrikant's last and final pick. Coming to you, Heymen, on your last and final pick, we had Dhanlakshmi Bank that Shrikant chose from the PSU banking lot, and you selected a syndicate bank. What's your rationale for choosing this one?
Like I said, I think the bank Nifty looks very interesting, Devina. In fact, Dena Bank looks better, but that's more of a positional buy. Syndicate is more of a shorter term call. You know, we've taken out, we've closed above 120 after multiple attempts. I think we've taken around 8 weeks to close above 120. So it's broken out from this 108, 120 range, Devina. There is very strong support from the mechanical indicators. It is above the 55-day, above the 55-week moving average. You have crossover buys on the daily chart. Stock looks good. It's from the rounding bottom. Technically, I think on all parameters it looks great, not only from a short term, from a medium term point of view also.
Okay, a good bet on all technical parameters, and that's why Heymen likes a syndicate bank, placing a target on that one at 128 with a stop at 119. We'll talk about your last pick, Shardul, which is an Ambuja Cement. Over the past few days, it has been a strong gainer, been a good support also within the mid-cap arena. Are there any other cement stocks also that you would like?
See, in the cement space, I think JP is one stock that we've already taken. ACC as well as Ambuja both look good. The only thing is that I'm more convinced with the charts of Ambuja Cement. If you actually see the weekly charts, I think this particular counter has very strong channel pattern, and I would expect the target price to be achieved on the higher side. From a weekly perspective, my target would be around 145 to 150 to 146 rupees. But from a day trading perspective, or 2-3 day positional perspective, I would expect the stock to reach around 136, 137 levels. Considering the fact that the market is basically lacking momentum, once the momentum is back in the market, I think that you will see these stocks perform, because presently you're seeing that 5-6 trading sessions you're moving sideways. Once you get the breakout on the upside, I think these stocks will move in line with the market.
Alright, that is Ambuja Cement. Target of 136 is what Shardul has placed on that one. Let's quickly take you through the calculator plates. Let's see if there's any movement in their portfolios after the last time we had a check. Shrikant Shetty's portfolio, yes, all of them still in the green, making good money on all of the stocks there. The increase, 2.5% returns now, 11,600 rupees is what Shrikant is making. Heymen Kapadia, from 2 stocks in the red to 1 stock in the red. You've got Welspun Corp is down marginally, making good money. So closing in on that 1% mark, 4,200 rupees is what Heymen is making. And Shardul Kulkarni, he's also moved from 2 stocks in the red to 1 stock, which is VGR, and the other 3 stocks doing well. So he's moved in above 0.5%, about 3,000 rupees is what Shardul is making right now. Take time out then to thank each of our experts, Shrikant, Heymen and Shardul. Thanks very much for joining us on the first day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time here, to play the game on day 2.
Okay, so we look forward to that, but in the meantime, we're going to take a quick break, but to remind our viewers how you can be a part of the show Buy Now, Sell Now. Remember, we encourage your participation, so do keep the queries and questions coming in. bnsn@etnow.tv, that's where you write in to us. Send us an SMS to 58888. If you want to talk to Rajat, Devina or me live, please call in to 022-2483-7111. And coming up next is Mr. P.N. Agarwal's portfolio.